Disclaimer, for like the majority of the duration of this video, I say that there's 6 episodes in season 26. There's actually 5. I realize this towards the end, but you just have to deal with it. Sorry.
Sorry. We're sorry. Sorry. I'm deeply sorry. Sorry.
So I just watched, well, not just, it was a couple days ago. It came out like a day or two ago. Maybe even a week ago, honestly. I forget. But I just watched episode 6, Dick and Bal's Hot Dogs of Family Guy. Excuse me, of South Park, season 26. And now I think it's time that I list off my favorite episodes so far. 6 episodes. I think there is a standout, and there might even be the one that I like the least. But let's talk about it. So obviously the first episode was Cupid Ye and Cupid Ye, probably Cupid Ye. And this episode, I think it's great that they brought back Cupid Ye. Cupid Me. Dude, that's gonna be so annoying. It's great that they brought him back. I think he was hilarious in that one episode when he was trying to set up Tolkien. And by the way, if you say Tolkien, you're part of the problem because his name is pronounced Tolkien. Anyways, I thought it was very funny when he was setting up Tolkien and Nicole in that one episode. So I was really happy that they brought him back. So in this episode, it was obviously about, I'll just say it, bro. I'll just say it. This episode was my least favorite episode so far of the 6 episodes, dude. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what it is. I guess it was touching on the subject at the times, because, you know, Kyrie and all these other people and Kanye were talking about how black people with Jews or whatever nonsense. But this episode was about everyone thought that Kyle was running Hollywood because he is Jewish.
There's this rumor starting to go around the school. Kids are saying that, like, I don't know, that, like, you run Hollywood.
And so it was very controversial because it touched on subjects that were very controversial. I know a lot of people on YouTube were getting canceled because they were talking about, you know, those people, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know if I can talk about it. Can I talk about it? I mean, I'm not going to talk about it. But anyways, in the beginning, it was about Tolkien and Kyle. They were doing TikToks. And first of all, TikToks in real life are extremely cringe to me. So it's no surprise that even in a cartoon, and I guess maybe they were satirizing it, but it was even more cringe, dude. I kid you not. So many instances I was watching this, and when they were showing their TikToks, I just had to turn away, dude. It was extremely uncomfortable for me and very cringe. But basically, Cartman, I guess he doesn't like this because Kyle is friends with Tolkien, and he's no longer like really hanging out with Stan that much. So, you know, it's around Valentine's Day, and whenever someone has to get set up with someone else, Cupid Me comes in and he's trying to get Kyle and Stan back together. That's basically the gist. And Cartman starts spewing bullshit about how, like, you know, Jewish people run Hollywood or whatever, and Kyle specifically runs Hollywood. And Cupid Ye comes in and he's basically talking in Cartman's ear about all this stuff, but he slowly gets out of hand. And towards the end there, he starts talking about stuff that's crazy, like Hitler did nothing wrong. And it's like he would say a couple things that Cartman would agree with, but then he'd sprinkle in something that's a little too crazy and controversial. I don't know why I didn't like this episode. I even tried to rewatch it, but the second time around, I could not watch the whole thing. It was just very unwatchable for me. I'd have to say that my fifth favorite episode so far out of 6 would probably be Deep Learning. Yeah, Deep Learning for me, obviously it introduced me to ChatGPT, which is crazy how I didn't know what ChatGPT was before I watched this episode, but now I do know what ChatGPT is, and I even tried it. It's actually pretty cool. You should actually go and check it out yourself. But yeah, ChatGPT, basically about all the boys, you know what I'm saying? Clyde has been using ChatGPT on Bebe because Bebe texts him non-stop, and ChatGPT is so good at responding, so Clyde can just do other stuff and not have to worry about responding to all of her texts. And Stan reads in all this because Bebe is out there talking about how great Clyde is because of the way he responds to her messages. So Stan gets in on this too, and he's responding to Wendy, and it basically goes how you think. It goes great, actually. But I mean, there was a couple times where it was scary because, you know, he would actually be hanging out with her in real life, and she'd be bringing up stuff that ChatGPT, not him, was talking about, and he had no idea what she was talking about. But he does a great job at winging it and just making something up on the fly. But yeah, the episode is about I guess AI. Everyone ends up using AI, and there's a huge contrast towards the end because they have a guy who comes in. He's like this old hunter guy with a hawk, and he's basically sniffing out the AI, which is just great contrast because ChatGPT is obviously AI. We got AI, whereas the other hand, we got a guy who's very old-timey, Stone Age, you know what I'm saying? Hunter guy who comes in. So new with the old. Yeah, number 5, deep learning. I have to say my number 4 pick would have to be the Worldwide Privacy Tour. It's always great when they have Canadians. I'm not really a huge fan of Canadians, obviously. They're like lame Americans. They're like America's boring cousin, but slightly bigger. You know what I'm saying? So it's about the Worldwide Privacy Tour. It's about the Prince Harry and his wife. What's her name? Exactly. No, I'm kidding. Everyone knows her name, except for me for some reason. But it's about them. It's funny because they're trying to get privacy. They're like spouting that they just want to be left alone, but they're going around on talk shows and getting on the news and stuff, just talking about it. It's like, leave me alone, but I'm literally going on TV to tell you to leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? That's hilarious. I think it's always funny when they do these Canadian themed episodes because the Canadians are always funny. You know how they look. They got the slit in the mouth. That episode was funny because of that. There really wasn't much I thought was funny. I like how Kyle and Butters were trying to find their new identities. That was pretty funny. Butters getting beat up just because he wouldn't stop like identifying with his new personality or whatever. That was funny. Kyle looking for a new one just because he's been, I don't know, he needs a new one. You know, Kyle finding a new brand from Cumhammer. That was very hilarious. That episode was pretty solid, you know what I'm saying, but wasn't the best. And I'd have to say my number 2 favorite episode was Dick and Bouse hot dogs. This is funny because the whole, beginning of the episode when Butters gets a job and Cartman decides that he wants a job too. He gets that job there, but he's extremely lazy. He's not working. The part where he's on the phone during his break eating an ice cream talking about the job when he should be working. That's hilarious. The part where he gets a guy to come in and deliver a laptop and it's him FaceTiming Butters telling him that he needs like a mental health break or whatever. That's hilarious. The took our gerbs guy who came back and he's interviewing for a job, but he's talking about he needs a mental health day, which is ironic because it's towards Cartman and Cartman just doesn't get the irony of it. That's hilarious. Cartman, of course, stealing money from Butters. That's funny. And I really like the fact that this was a very Butters heavy episode, and Butters' personality and his identity is pretty interesting to me now because he's very hardworking. It showed in this episode. And then towards the end where Cartman gets his house back, yet he's so unhappy because he doesn't get to live in that theme park anymore. That's funny. So number 2, Dick and Bouse hot dogs. Number 1, I wouldn't say this was a great episode, but I mean, out of the 5 episodes, have I been saying 6? It's 5 episodes, might be. But out of the 5 episodes, this is probably the best out of the bunch. It's the Japanese toilet. First of all, it's interesting because I've always said it. I've been saying it for a long time. But Randy is the funniest character on this show. Anything he does is hilarious. And this time when he gets enthralled, fascinated by a Japanese toilet, which we've all thought that Japanese toilets were great, you know what I'm saying? They're super futuristic. The toilet seat opens up on its own. You don't have to go touching the toilet seat, you know what I'm saying? They wash your butt for you, you know what I'm saying, with the water rinsing. And I've always said it, bro. And this episode especially touches on this. Toilet paper is not getting people that clean, bro. The people that are relying on just toilet paper, they're walking around with not so clean butts. And so it's great. You know what I'm saying? Not only can you walk around with a cleaner butt, but at the same time, you're also saving the planet because it's also environmentally friendlier to use water to clean your butt instead of toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? Which is great because we also get a cameo from Jimmy, one of my favorite characters. And he's the one that actually tells Stan about how toilet paper just kills so many trees. You know what I'm saying? But in this episode, Randy gets this toilet, costs him like $10,000. You know what I'm saying? Over here making these purchases without notifying his wife first. But he tells her, don't worry about it. And he pushes her into the toilet so that she can experience it herself. Because you have to experience toilets, which is exactly what Randy does. He gets the whole town into his house. He invites them for dinner, and then he asks them whether or not they want to go to the bathroom or not. And then he listens, because they all have the same experience. And it's so funny when they get in there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know what I'm saying? And Randy just loves hearing that. He loves getting that reaction from people. But he's treading on dangerous waters because he tries to push the agenda that people should now stop using toilet paper in their regular old toilets and start getting the Japanese toilets, you know what I'm saying? But he ends up getting shot, and then he changes his mind because he doesn't want to get shot. I'm not going to risk my life over just trying to get people to change toilets, you know what I'm saying? So Rennie was very smart about that. But yeah, that was my list. Starting from the bottom to the top. Cupid Yee, my least favorite. Then it was Deep Learning. That was my number 4. Number 3, the Worldwide Privacy Tour. And number 2, Dick and Bouse Hot Dogs. And number 1, so far, my favorite episode. This might change. My favorite episode of season 26, Japanese Toilets. It's been your boy Thrag. I'm out. Peace.